job, I don't have responsibilities, and I lack a hope. But whatever, it's cool. So I watch a lot of TV, you know, and it's like, it's just what happens. And thank God for late night TV, insomnia, because otherwise I'd be screwed. And I came across, and it's not really TV that's important when you're depressed and watching TV, because who cares, right? It's like, that's gonna be on later. But what's really important is the commercials of late night TV. You know, back in the 90s, we had 90s references earlier. We had such classics as Totally Hits, and now that's what I call music, right? Replaced. It's been replaced with Joint Jams, spelled with a Z. And it's got hits such as Milkshake and what are other really bad things? Laffy Taffy. You remember that? School dances, right? And then Right There. Right There, spelled T-H-U-R. A Chingy classic. It's like, when was the last time any of us voluntarily listened to Chingy? Is he even still alive? But Joint Jams promised me that these booty bouncing hits would get me so. I highly doubt it. And right after this commercial came 3 words I never wanted to see in this order. Attention catheter users. Could have gone my whole life without seeing that.
So after that commercial comes on the new commercial for the red plastic cups from Dixie, but now they're squared. I'm just curious, how fucking hard is it to hold a round cup now they're squaring them? It's like for the last 100 years, drunk high school kids everywhere have been spilling their Natty Light due to like all the condensation. But now they have square ones, so don't worry kids, your PBR won't spill.
It's for the grip. So, lots of TV. Still talking about TV because I love it so much. And I'm classy and I have HBO, so suck it, bitches. And it's like, HBO, it goes there because it's not TV, it's fucking HBO. Difference. And what that really means is naked scenes. Right? Ryan Dowell? Yeah, I know you. So it's like, naked scenes. Hey man, I'm trying to do something up here. So pay attention for like the next 5 seconds if you can, fucker. So, naked scenes in television on HBO. So, it's like, when you're watching a naked scene by yourself, it's like, whatever, it makes sense to the story. It's like, oh, these 2 people are in love. Or, hey, that guy paid for a hooker. Makes sense, right? And you're just like, I'm gonna go with it. But as soon as you add another person to your viewing of a naked scene, game changer. It's like, are you turned on?
Are you turned on?
I don't want to be turned on while you're here. Don't look at me during the naked scene. Because it's weird. Why are you this close to me? We're on a couch. Get away. And you're so preoccupied by what you think they're thinking. In all, in reality, the reality of the situation is, all they're really thinking is, wow, Rob Lowe looks good 20 years ago. Speaking of Rob Lowe, Rob Lowe has been sober for 20 years. Give it up for Rob Lowe. Really? You just clapped for Rob Lowe? That means the last 20 years of his life have been really fucking boring. Just saying.
Speaking of sucking all the fun out of life, when I came out over to Kent, he was like, oh, it's okay that you're gay, I'm just glad you're not a Republican. And I just want to say, thank you to the Republican Party for looking like such assholes that my dad would rather I sleep with women than vote for Meg Whitman. I mean, Meg Whitman, right?
Right?
Yeah.
None of you fuckers voted.
Okay. But I mean, the other day I was sitting in class and I was thinking about that, and then I was looking down at my clothes and I was like, oh yeah, I just came from work, so I'm in work clothes and I'm walking around at school. I'm never gonna get laid. This is why. I am wearing a sweater and Puma tennis shoes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like cute but practical. No, I'm a fucking lesbian.
Speaking of lesbians, I was on campus when I was at school, so it was many months ago, and a Greenpeace dyke attacked me. And she said, you've seen him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, bro, you've seen him. So the Greenpeace dyke comes up and she's like, oh man, polar bears have resorted to cannibalism due to global warming. And I'm like, oh, tragic, right? Because I love a polar bear as much as the next guy. And then the bitch says this, you look like you're down for the cause. Does that mean she thought I looked like a lesbian or an environmentalist? Or is that the same thing? Could be. Sounds like the same thing to me.
It's like 6 in one, half a dozen in the other.
Fuck. What?
I mean, those fucking old sayings, man. My mom's favorite is queerer than a $2 bill. I don't even know what that means. Another one, she said once, she goes, that girl doesn't have a pot to piss in or a place to put it. I'm like, Mom, when was the last time anyone peed in pots?
Or it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Was there a time in all of our lives where people put fish in a goddamn barrel and were like, here's a shotgun, have at it?
Nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. That's one you don't really hear anymore, huh?
Not so much.
Unless you're talking about abortion. But I really think the queen of funny expressions is Nancy.
Nancy!
She has all the best one-liners, like baby steps, like that kind of stuff. So the other day I'm talking to her, she has really good fashion sense, as you can see. So I'm talking to her like, oh, you know, I don't really know that I can like pull off that look or whatever. And she goes, Kelly, all you need is confidence and a smile. And I'm like, Nancy, yeah, maybe if you're fucking perfect, some of us have problem areas. And speaking about problems, Jesus, right? Right. Speaking of problem areas, the Lord. So, here's my thing with Jesus. Great guy, or whatever. If you're into that, Jesus, whatevs. So, it's like Jesus performed miracles. It's like, oh, that motherfucker can walk on water, and oh, you got like 5 fish and a loaf of bread. How about 5,000 fish and 20 loaves of bread? It was more than that, but let's just say for the sake of the joke, that was it. And oh, you're blind no longer. But how about this? How about no one ever was like, oh, miracles? Check out the table this motherfucker made, right? Put some shelves in my house? Phenomenal. Was he even a good carpenter? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. Do you think, like, when they were nailing him to the cross, like, wait, who nailed him to the cross? Like,
Jews?
The Jews,
I think
right?
it was Jews.
Okay, so when the Jews were nailing him to the cross,
Jews nailed Jesus to the cross.
Roman Jews.
Romans. What, who fucking
Okay,
cares?
I'm not a religious
We don't
studies
like
major. Well, I am. That quality education, Mom and Dad. Anyways, do you think when they were like nailing him?
$40,000 a year for that?
Go Chapman. Go Chapman in my right hand. Go Chapman. Anyways, do you think when they were nailing him to the cross, he was like giving them instructions? Like, no, I've spent my whole life doing this. You gotta angle the nail just right. No, put your arm into that. All right, we got one final question.
Jews.
Jews, you might find this one funny. Does anyone else find it ironic that Jesus was a carpenter and he was murdered by being nailed to a piece of wood? Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon. That's it.